I'm so excited.
Yeah,
for that.
To answer your initial question, I was going to say figgy pudding, but you didn't give me a chance to answer.
I don't remember what my original question was.
You said, you know what I'm thankful for.
God.
If you haven't turned off yet, thank you.
Grown-up, human, comic, people! Grown-up, human, comic, people!
Okay, so anyway, now we can start.
I took another wrapping for you.
Everybody is present and accounted for. Welcome to this episode of Grown-Up Human and Comic People. This is episode. It's not numbered. I guess I should say. Oh, it's numbered. Fucking 30.
Number 0.
33. This is 33. 33. This is episode 33. Episode 33 of Grown Up Human Comic People, Volume 2. You can find us at grownuphumans.com, epicastnetwork.com/grownuphumans, iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, Libsyn, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud at Grown Up Human Comic People, and Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Grown Up Humans. Make sure to rate and review the show if you like it. That helps us out, and we will read if you desire, we can read your review online, and we'll say whatever the fuck you want. So do that, and we would appreciate it. Thank you. But I almost said please and thank you, but I think people who say that are assholes. You know, did somebody say that to you before?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, nobody likes to hear somebody say that to them.
That's true, because then you assume that it's
Exactly.
making an assumption that they're going to do what you're asking of them. Please and thank you.
Yes.
Ugh, attorneys used to say that to me all the fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't say yes, so I guess we'll see about that. Thank you. Here, plugs real fast. Go to Southside Comics at 1931 East Carson Street. Go get some comics in your face. RadicalTrivia.com. Go get some trivia in your face. Midnight Rose. Midnight with a K.
Reverb Nation, Facebook, all that shit.
Yeah.
Get some music in your face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Metamesh.org.
Get some Wi-Fi in your face.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Everyone successfully completed the circle.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's get to this. We only have the book to talk about since we didn't get to it in the last couple episodes, and we pretty much. I didn't go around the table and say hello to everybody. So I'll say everyone's names. Everyone just say hi. Chris.
Oh, jeez.
You're not going to do it?
Oh.
Okay. Becky.
Hello.
Jer.
Hey.
And we have two guests on. We got Ziggy Sawdust. Ziggy.
Hello.
And we got Patty.
Hello.
So let's jump into this Batman Flash crossover. Did anybody not read this? Okay, Patty. Okay, Joe hadn't read it yet.
Chris.
Okay,
So we got 3.
Most of the people. All right.
Okay, most of the people here.
So it's me and you now, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
All
Becky,
the three of us, yeah.
So the three of us.
Why don't you give some people some background on what this is?
Okay. So, pretty much what had happened was DC. There was an event called Convergence where all these different universes came. It was almost like the Secret War, the newest Secret War from Marvel, kind of, where all the universes came together and shit happens, and it was basically an excuse to reboot the entire DC universe under the Rebirth banner. That happened, and so we got restarted Batman, Superman, all the books got kind of a fresh start and like a simplification of all their backstories and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so with this, at the end of the Rebirth #1. Batman is in the Batcave, and he finds a pin, which is the comedian's pin, the smiley face pin with the blood on it, from the Watchmen saga. So, pretty much implying that now that the universe has been kind of reconsolidated into this new form, that now we have the possibility of the Watchmen coming into the DC universe.
I think before he finds that, he was already on to something.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, nobody else knows what's happening except for Batman, because he always fucking knows. He's on top of everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have gone back and read that issue again. I haven't read it in a while. But yeah,
excellent one though.
It's great.
And by the way, if you were kind of disillusioned with the 2000s DC and New 52, start with Rebirth, because man, it's excellent.
Yeah.
And they're really they're going back to the roots, simplifying it. And by the way, they only have 1-2-page ad in the middle of every comic as opposed to every other fucking page for Marvel. So give it a chance. Rebirth is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do want to sort of introduce like sort of my predisposition before I give any sort of review of this, which is I typically don't like any sort of merging of universes, especially whenever you have something with Batman going into what we were discussing previously, like what I said on a previous episode, where I was talking about one of the things I liked that his entire cognition behind why he's fighting crime is something that's a very personal sort of based upon a post-traumatic stress break from reality to a certain extent, or at least in how he's manifesting his actions after he has this really traumatic experience from his childhood where he sees the bats that ties into falling in the well. There are a few different ways that Bruce Wayne's backstory, but collectively there's always something where a bat comes into play where he ends up being a crazy man in a bat suit. But we've been over that. Yeah. But I do want to say the reason I don't like the imposition of any other superhero into that specific universe for Batman is that universe is something that isn't asking anybody to make any sort of leap as far as inferring a supernatural type of power, that then equips them to fight crime or to deal with any sort of adversity that they encounter within that universe, right? And so whenever you push like the Flash onto Batman, I don't know. It's some of that, and I'm not nearly as knowledgeable as anybody else here on like what's been articulated in prior series and things like that and what's been done in the past. But just on a very basic level, I sort of have an immediate I have an immediate kind of
dislike.
Yeah, not dislike, just sort of like I'm going to need to be convinced that much more readily, in order to convince me to accept the premise, because I'm already going in very skeptical of the premise. Right?
So you're skeptical.
Yeah.
I think I understand what you're saying. The thing I like about Batman when he has to interact with the other superheroes in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Because when it's just him and say Robin or whoever else, Batgirl.
See, to me that's what I prefer.
Right. But I mean, in his universe, no one has any superpowers really. Like a couple people do. Like Killer Croc's like superhumanly strong.
But they're always scientific experiments gone wrong.
Right.
Which is a common construct.
Ra's al Ghul is kind of magical. In some ways,
sort of.
There are some magical. Anyway, the point is,
some
most
blind
of the main
spots, but
most of the main villains are in some way grounded, so that Batman can fight them.
Yeah,
like a lot of times physically, he can physically impose his will on them. But whenever he has to deal with like Flash villains or anybody else, Batman goes from being kind of like, if we're going to do a Turtles comparison, he goes from being like Leonardo to being Donatello. Whenever other superheroes are because he's like, okay, I understand. Like, I'm not going to punch Darkseid in the face. Like, I can't do that. So he's like, I'll just be in the Batcave, and you tell me, I'll let you know what I figure out with like you collect some evidence, whatever you need. I'm going to help from the back behind the front line.
Yeah.
Superman can go punch people. I'm going to go
outsmart him
exactly because like Batman is that kind of diverse, and I think that like that aspect of his character allows him to still be in the realm of the Justice League.
His superpower, showing my my drinks there. His superpower is not really a superpower. He's just very good at deductive reasoning.
Yeah.
And looking at each situation he goes into and figuring out a way to address it from within the constructs of our physical world. And so whenever you're starting to get one of the things I think that makes Batman strong, which is the fact that you're tied into that type of world, which is our shared reality, right? Impose a storyline that ties into things that have elements of like either superpowers or whole separate planets, and there's this whole alien introduction and all this different stuff. Whereas Batman was much more initially, even at its earliest conception, was much more grounded in this almost like almost like a steampunk kind of world in a way with Gotham City, or like a very like it's like, you know what it is? It's like the 1940s World Fair. You know, like that type of architecture and technology and the way that they were exploring it. And they took a lot of those sensibilities and then reapplied that as far as what the imagery would look like, as far as like the way that the world that Batman was in. But it was always a place that was sort of like had something that tied into some sort of scientific notion.
Right. No
And
one has
that was
mutant
it.
abilities.
Exactly.
He's a rich guy with a lot of toys and training for that matter.
Well, okay, so
Well, he's a fucked up dude with PTSD who like has a break from reality and throws on a bat suit and starts hitting people. I mean, you know, at a very basic level.
Here's the thing: most stories about Batman just use Batman as a tool in the story, rather than Batman being like kind of the main character in the story. Like a lot of Batman stories are about, say, one of the bad guys or the victim of like, I don't know, Gotham as a whole. Like sometimes the city is the character,
Right.
and Gotham and Batman is just kind of like a force of nature within the story.
Sure.
So that's why I think Batman and you have to separate yourself from like Batman being a character and being just like another element in telling a story. Like because this as a story, Batman doesn't really do anything.
Sure.
I mean, he's just there and like he's like one of the cogs in the machine.
Yeah.
And that just happens to Batman whenever he jumps into the larger
Sure.
world, because you can't
Well, see, like, and that brings us to the book now. Now that like, because I have a bias, and so I figured it'd be worth like bring up my bias to it going into it. But now that brings us up to where we are currently with this, with like the whole Watchmen aspect, which you had to explain to me earlier, as far as the whole. You know, the button that was radioactive and is, you know, causing, you know, this sort of rift, you know, in between these worlds. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the button is actually the title of these books.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the story, the title of the storyline. So to sum it up, Batman and the Flash, he's okay. It's in this first issue, which is by the way Batman 21, and then it goes Batman 21, Flash 21, Batman 22, Flash 22. That's the order of this particular storyline. It's a crossover between the two books, and so Batman is this is set up kind of interestingly. It's almost like in the amount of frames that the Dark Knight Returns, it's kind of a Frank Miller kind of thing, where
Yeah.
it's a bunch of frames on a bunch of pages.
Well, and there's also the countdown as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which,
There's a countdown.
I don't know.
Which makes sense in the ties to Watchmen.
Yeah, and so Batman is examining this button, and the Reverse Flash just kind of shows up and just starts beating Batman's ass.
Yeah.
Whipping his ass all around the Batcave.
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to specify which Batman. He beats up Thomas Wayne,
Thomas Wayne, yeah.
the dad, in the very beginning.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
In that universe, in the very beginning of 21, Bruce dies
Yeah,
in that
he's already dead,
after
yeah.
the theater. And it's Thomas Wayne, because he talks about, how being a doctor and whatnot. And it's only later, whenever when the regular Flash comes in, that they converge.
No. In 21, this is Bruce. This is Bruce getting beaten up.
I don't think so,
Yes,
no.
it is.
No, if you...
He sold out. By the way, you only have the one comic because Dan sold
Because
out.
there's a narrative where they actually cut to Bruce Wayne
No, there's
being dead, and like there's a frame in there though that is, it's recalling the fact that Bruce Wayne is dead.
Yeah. This is Thomas.
Yeah, it's definitely
What?
Thomas.
No, it's not.
Oh shit!
Okay.
No. They run it at the end of 20.
Here, right here.
Flash.
Right
oh,
here,
Thomas. Right here. At the very beginning when he's getting the shit kicked out.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
okay. So this is at the end of 22. They meet Thomas Wayne, who is on the left.
okay, but
The Flash.
if you-
The Flash saves Bruce in that issue. They travel on the cosmic treadmill.
I thought Bruce is dead in this issue though.
No.
No,
No.
I'm confused.
there's a frame very specific where they show him laying down outside the theater bleeding, and he's dead. Like I clearly remember
Are you
seeing
thinking of a
that.
different issue? Because like in Batman 22, I think.
Yeah, but we're both talking. We're both saying the same thing. That's why I'm confused.
Are you talking,
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you talking about the frame where Bruce is dead? That's Thomas
This
Wayne's
comic
backstory.
sucks.
No,
That's Thomas Wayne's
I don't
backstory.
think so because I didn't even look at that yet. That's
the-
something
the-
I took from this.
No, that's this one. Like
Are you
that.
sure?
That's Thomas Wayne's backstory is in 22.
In 22.
Oh,
You're right.
okay.
So in the
I
sorry.
love this.
So when he says "Oh Thomas," he's talking about the letter.
Yes.
And
Oh,
because
okay.
here he says, "Hey," Flash comes in and says, "Hey Bruce, sorry, stopped at the Blades game. By the way, love seeing hockey in a comic book."
Yeah.
Thomas is Bruce's dad, who wrote Bruce that letter in the Flashpoint series.
Right.
And Bruce has that letter because that's the only thing Barry brought back with him from Flashpoint as a letter from his actual dad to Bruce.
Right. It is admittedly
is that?
confusing because in the
Just that
alternate,
simple.
in that universe, Thomas survives, but Bruce dies.
Yes.
Yes,
And
sorry.
Thomas is Batman in that universe.
Correct.
And that is
makes
detailed.
total
And then they
sense.
converge. Yes.
Makes perfect
That's-
sense.
that's
All of
detailed
that.
in this
That's
one,
in
yes.
22, whatever.
Yes. So,
Sorry for my misunderstanding.
no, it's fine. So anyway, Reverse Flash beats the shit out of Bruce Wayne,
Good idea.
and then
I allegedly may have eaten some magical mushrooms, ladies and gentlemen. I'm chewing them right now.
Allegedly.
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 Allegedly. I love that shit.
So the Flash rescues Bruce. He throws him on is it the cosmic treadmill.
Yes, Cosmic Treadmill.
Yeah.
On the cosmic treadmill, they start going through time. He brings him to Flashpoint to talk to Thomas Wayne. And that is this issue I'm holding right now. And then they see that the Reverse Flash kind of slides in, and they're chasing him at the end of this issue. And in the fourth one, they're kind of trying to warn him because in the beginning of in the first issue, is it the first issue or the second issue? One of them, they see the body of the Reverse Flash. He's
Right,
been
right.
burned and shit, and because he had just appeared in front of them, and says I just saw God, and then he dies, and they're like, okay, what the fuck was that? And so at the end of the third one, they see him running through time, and they're telling him dude, whatever you're about to do, don't do it because you're gonna fucking die. And he does it, and he sees a character from Watchmen that's it's pretty cool, and it doesn't really tell you a whole lot at the end. This is almost like a prequel to another event.
Yeah,
that's
it
gonna
was
happen.
definitely left it was supposed to, I guess, be a cliffhanger, even though it didn't quite read. I don't know. It was more like, well, and then what? But it wasn't really. I didn't feel a whole lot of suspense. I wasn't that compelled to care by the end of it.
They could have done a better job with the last
I felt the countdown was a little bit.
contrived.
Yes,
it
that's
was
the word I was gonna
exactly
say.
it. Yeah, it felt forced and not necessary and extraneous, and even the dialogue in the early part of it where Batman's talking to the Flash, it was very campy and not in a charming way.
Yeah. I was hoping for more, I don't know, just a little bit more action. Not that much stuff happened throughout the course of these 4 issues.
Yeah, it just seems lame.
This could have been a one shot that was an $8 book and just an extra thick issue. You didn't have
Exactly.
to put it back and forth between Batman and Flash.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems
That's
like
them trying to gain viewership from
for
one
each
to the
book.
other.
Yeah,
You know,
they're trying to
it's a
cross.
marketing choice.
And I understand that the countdown's both a nod to, the Flash in terms of how quickly he goes, and that's how short of a time span in which he has to move.
Yeah.
But also it's a nod to Watchmen and the clock, or at least I thought. But
Yeah.
I kind of hope, I was wishing for a little bit more kind of Watchmen influence weaved in kind of subtly,
Yeah.
but the button's all we get.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a clue to future episodes.
Oh, it definitely.
Issues, obviously,
I think
but
it definitely is. Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
wait for that.
Yeah.
They're
I don't
taking
know.
way too long with this whole thing.
Yeah.
When was
Yes.
it? When was it that we seen the first button thing?
That was a while ago, for the beginning of Rebirth.
I thought it was just going to be right from that point, just a bunch of issues, and that would be that story.
thought so,
and now
too.
we're seeing this shit after I forgot about it.
Yeah.
They're dragging it out, and this is where I think if you guys read any in the New 52, I don't want them to go back to that. They would drag out these plot lines, and you're waiting, and you read all these books for anything to happen,
Yeah.
and then the last issue is where everything happens, and you're like, well, that was the first 2 issues were great, the last issue was fine. You could have told that story in one, like you said, $8 book.
Yeah.
I don't want them to revert to that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to. I'm curious to see what happens, but I didn't think they did a great job with any of
Yeah,
these.
I agree with that.
I don't know. I guess we can. Does anybody else have anything else to say about this?
Well, I mean, I think, I mean, just overall, what I take away from it is like a final, because we're going into like, up and down, up or down.
Yeah.
I would say thumbs down for this personally. It wasn't compelling. The action sequences weren't even that interesting, and what they did do to try to create suspense, I felt was contrived, like we were discussing before. So I think it's big thumbs down. Not very interesting whatsoever.
Chris, thoughts?
This is so fucking not worth it. It's just such a garbage story. And nobody could even agree on what the storyline actually was in the time frame.
Well, that was my fault.
No, but everybody argued over it, too. I mean, people took your side, people took Jared's side, and honestly, I just kind of... I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, and here's why.
Yeah.
Batman was fine as a character. The Flash was fine as a character. Watchmen is arguably the greatest graphic novel of all time. You didn't need... If you were going to do this, like Jared said, just make it a one-shot. And whoever... You said that, too. And it's just fucking stupid bullshit. This was not necessary at all. I didn't read it beforehand, and I was flipping through it and then listening to all the commentary, and nobody else likes it either. Yeah. Everybody was like, no, yeah, you know what? This is bullshit. That's what everybody said here. Fuck this shit.
Yep. Agreed.
It's just a lot of missed potential. I mean, we got hooked because of the button, like, oh my god, Watchmen in a DC book, and Batman and Flash with Watchmen. That's what got me hooked, because, as you said, I love Watchmen. But they're just taking fucking forever to get to the point, and not much action is actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a thought. As I was looking at this, and as I was reading through it, this didn't remind me of a DC comic, which admittedly, I don't think... We don't really do DC, do we? Not really. Not
We
a
did
whole
Rebirth, but we haven't been... No, you're absolutely right.
We really don't. And it's been a long time since I've read a DC comic. And the entire time when I was looking at these, everything about it immediately triggered a CW DC TV show.
The dialogue especially is incredibly trite.
Yeah, but it's exactly what and especially what they're doing with it now. I mean, Supergirl is now on CW. Flash went into Arrow, and they combined with each other, and they involve whatever time crisis thing they're doing on the CW. And I tried really hard to because everybody jerked off over it, so I was like, man, I got to try and watch these shows on the CW. And I don't like them. I don't like The Flash. I thought it was cheesy. Arrow, first season was okay. I was okay with it. I dropped out after season 2 because I thought it was fucking stupid.
No, you're not wrong. It
Yeah,
goes down.
You're right on
hill
that
as
too.
it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
A lot of people agree with you.
Yeah, it just like Arrow first season. I'm like, okay, something you need to forgive, but it was at least intriguing. And then he's just like, but the island, and everyone's else like, well, I wouldn't have sex with you, and that's what it was for me.
It's lots of flashbacks. You have failed the city, and Laurel Lance consistently making poor decisions, despite being a very smart person.
It's fucking stupid.
It's always him lying. He lied to someone, and then it's like, why? Why would you lie to us? He does it to everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the whole show.
It's the entire show.
It's him lying for no reason. They're like, dude, you
Yeah.
could have just told us you were Arrow, and then all this other bullshit wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
a reason that the Arrow subreddit for over a year and a half just
Been the
covered itself in Daredevil stuff.
Yeah.
Because it was a much superior storytelling.
You know what? You know what I'm thankful for? That by the time this comes out, and anybody listening to this, here's what I'm saying. Wonder Woman is supposed to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It hasn't come out yet, but it has like 10 out of 10s and 4 out of 4 stars right now.
I can't wait.
Me neither.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
And to answer your initial question, I was going to say figgy pudding, but you didn't give me a chance to answer.
I don't remember what my original question was.
You said, you know what I'm thankful for.
God. But
If you haven't turned off yet, thank you.
This is nonsense.
What the hell does Watchmen have to do with any of this?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing at
Anything
this
in the
point.
book.
We
Like,
don't know
we don't
yet.
know.
We
still don't know.
We still don't know.
And that's what returns to my point. They're dragging it out.
It's a
It-
counterproductive slow reveal, is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this
It's like
is
if
where
you
they,
had like 6 Alien movies and you still hadn't seen the Alien. It's like, what the fuck, man? Come on, just
Yeah.
give it to us already.
Oh, that's the reason why the most recent Ghost Rider book was canceled is because the whole first issue, you don't see the Ghost Rider till like the end of the first one, and then the whole thing is still about like Wolverine and Hulk and fucking Silk, and Ghost Rider's just in it like here and there.
Yeah.
And they're like, Marvel's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's canceled. Like 5 issues, you're done. Get the fuck out of here.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like people want these slow reveals, these fucking like because they want to sell more stuff.
Right.
But that's why I think is the big failure of both DC and Marvel. Yet they're out to sell, and meanwhile we're getting Dark Horse, Black Mask, Image, Aftershock books that are tight in terms of their plot and their story. Not all of them, we hate some of them, or rather, we don't really hate a lot of them. We dislike some of them, but they're tight storytelling. Even, for example, Saga, which has been going on for a while,
Right.
is still tight storytelling.
Yeah.
That keeps you engaged. This is just making you wait to sell more books.
Right.
And it's pissing me off.
Right.
And also in this most recent issue, there's nothing that compels the reader to even care. There's not like a point in the plot line that's being introduced in this issue specifically where you even give a shit about what's happening to either character.
Yeah.
It's something that's like you're all of a sudden thrust into this countdown, within like 5 pages.
Yeah.
That's supposed to create this situation that is already arguably pretty fucking lame,
It's a
and
sense
now
of
you're
urgency,
supposed
like
to
a
care
sense of
now because we're
urgency.
counting it down too. It's contrived.
Yeah.
Although one thing I was thinking as I was looking through these things, and we never talk about this when we talk about, well, sometimes we do, but because DC, they do a really good job. Like the art in these books is
I was
pretty
going to
cool.
say, what do you think of the art?
I like
what-
the
what is
art.
it- yeah, I mean, I was going to say the art, like the visuals, because I was like talking about other stuff before and I was critiquing it.
Yeah.
The art is very consistent. It's on point and matches each other.
Yeah.
There are like maybe some like few things stylistically that like I personally would like to see a little bit differently because I also like the articulation of Batman that's much more like closer to like the early 90s cartoons is what I prefer.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what everyone prefers.
Yeah,
That's
everyone
of
prefers
course.
that.
That's-
Yeah, of course, whatever. But it's just I see like, and once again, it's like the crossing of universes as well. Then you also get the crosses of style and stuff like that between these different,
The universes, as you said, you're very skeptical of that, and I am as well. Just because it gives, and I'm going to fuck this up because I don't speak Latin, is the Deus Machina.
Yeah.
Deus Ex Machina.
Deus Machina, yeah.
It gives you that out for any. It happens in Doctor Who, Stephen
Yes,
Moffat. It
yes,
happens in
yes.
DC.
That's
It
a great
happens
point.
not as much in Marvel, but still, it gives you an out, an easy out to resolve conflict. And I think it's overused.
It's sort of like dream sequences, right? Where like all of a sudden they woke up and it was all a dream. It's like it's another type of lame plot device that doesn't really do anything new and compelling. It's just
Or they
that
could-
same lame plot device. Oh, and then you woke up and all that shit that we just watched and gave a shit about. Now you're telling me that's a dream. Great, waste my time. Thank you.
Or she picks up the severed head and gets on the spaceship and they just go into space.
Yeah. Yes.
Too many
the
times, man. Too many times.
You know what? So both Marvel and DC are guilty of this, but I think DC is more guilty of it. And a bit of this is going to be controversial, but I don't think murder's that big of a deal.
Well, people aren't that
comic books?
special, so I have to agree with you.
Because
Yeah.
Are you talking about like murder in general? Because
Yeah.
I mean, look at The Damned. There's murder everywhere. Or are you talking about murder from a superhero point of view? Because we've discussed that at length.
Yeah, I think it's like the end all for everybody that's ever existed. Like, oh my god, you can't murder another human being, and that's just kind of fucking. It's not that big. I'm sorry if anybody listening to this knows somebody that was murdered.
for heroes? You mean?
Just any in general.
Oh, in general? Oh.
Murder is really not that big of a deal to me.
Oh, well, I mean, like
It's bad. Listen, it's bad.
Nature,
Like, you shouldn't
nature is murder. It's just murder.
You shouldn't murder people. Okay,
No.
I'm just saying.
Well,
but like,
life
it's,
eats life, right?
Yeah.
But
it's always the big deal. Every DC thing, it's like, oh, fucking the Flash was murdered and everybody's murdered. And like, there's other things, in my opinion, that is worse than this because, like, I don't really care.
You want him to get raped now? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, rape is a bigger deal than murder is, in my opinion, because
You have to live after that. Yeah.
yeah,
Well-
and everything murder is that's eventually going to happen
It's going to
anyways.
get very dark very quickly.
We've gone over before you joined the podcast. We had, in fact, on my second episode here, we went over how I'm getting sick and tired of the noble hero saying, "I'm not going to kill you today. The justice system's going to take care of you." It's fucking Gotham. The justice system's not going to
It's
do
complete shit. It's been established.
So kill him. But you know what? It sells more books.
Well,
Because
in the early
that
comics, Batman
villain-
did kill people.
That villain
Motherfucker had a
XYZ
gun.
is going to come back. So
Right, but I mean, even more so, like, all right, everybody here, everybody listening to this, everybody not listening to this, in existence, they're going to die. That's going to happen, okay? Not everybody's going to be raped. Like, so far, I have a pretty good streak of not getting raped.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So,
like,
I'm working on it.
you're going to die eventually, all right? If you get murdered, I mean, that sucks, but, like, that was going to happen eventually. You were going to eventually go to that next phase.
you're just early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
death's an inevitability, and rape is something you can avoid. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, or somebody like flicks you in the dick. I'd rather be murdered, to be honest. I mean, I might get away with getting the tip of my dick not flicked. That would be cool.
I was going to say, have there been any superheroes that have been castrated in any of the universes?
Okay, think about this.
my
That's
knowledge.
a great question.
That is
Yeah.
a good question.
I was going to say, like,
Any eunuch superheroes?
Yeah.
Can you imagine, actually, for a second here, let's think about this. Superman gets castrated. He cannot have children. He's the last son of Krypton, so you have crippled him.
He already has a kid.
Yeah.
I'm saying theoretically, you dick.
you do it before then, dude. Come on.
You get the Flash to go back in time or whatever jizzy thing he does, and he stops the son of Krypton from being born. He gets jizz all over his face and turns into a werewolf.
That's called a callback.
I just want to stop in the word jizzy. The word jizzy needs special recognition.
Getting jizzy with it. Nah, 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 nah.
Man, I can't support that, but I support jizzy.
I know this is, well, not a related question, but I think that we should do a Chris Liston of, because we are lucky in that we are comic book fans, and as much as we love to bitch about the shows that piss us off, Arrow being a great exemplification of that, we are getting inundated with all of these comic book shows, whether it's on Stars with American Gods, which I love, or the WB or the FX. We should do a Chris list of what our favorite superhero shows are.
Yeah, we can do that.
Keep that in the future. Keep that in.
Yeah.
Especially because there's so much out there. TV shows, not
There's a lot.
movies.
Yeah.
Look at Netflix alone right now, dear God.
Yeah, and Netflix should be included in that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How could you not?
And all the old school ones, like the cartoons and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like,
Oh, yeah. I
like,
mean,
all those.
once again, my confirmation bias surrounding Batman and the Batman cartoons from like its role in my
The Adam
early
West.
childhood. I can't. I'm sorry. It's always going to be like
Yeah.
Of course.
That's going to be number one.
me,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, closely followed by other X-Men or Spider-Man.
I was about to say X-Men 90s X-Men.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
They did a great job of...
If you ever want to do a retrospective going back through like specific parts of the Batman cartoons, let me know.
Yeah.
Very well versed in that.
Yeah.
I'd be into that.
We can probably do that. I mean, I have them all. They're all right there. I have all the episodes.
Big fan.
Yeah. You know, I think over there, they...
Like the Grey Ghost episode.
Oh, my God, it's amazing.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, some of the best.
Is it still on Netflix, or did they take it off? and
Oh, no,
sell
it's
it?
still on there, I believe.
Great.
Yeah, like as of 2 months ago.
Yeah, I was about to say they put
I
it
was
on in March.
revisiting my childhood and early years right around
Yeah.
then. So,
Oh, it's so good.
and but no, it holds up too. That's it. You know,
It does.
Yeah, it totally holds up. Like
Because
the
it-
animation, all of it.
Yeah,
Mark
Wait,
Hamill.
hold on. Time out. What the fuck are you guys talking
I'm
about?
sorry. I
Batman the Animated Series.
Batman.
That's not on Netflix.
No. Well, I
It
mean,
was.
it's streaming on Netflix.
It was never on Netflix.
It's not a Netflix production. Oh, it definitely was. No,
I know it was on
100%
Amazon.
was.
It was on Amazon.
No,
Oh,
no,
maybe it
no,
was on
no. It was on Netflix streaming.
It was
definitely
streaming.
was.
That's the most important thing. Somewhere.
It was on. It's still on Amazon.
I think it was at one point.
It
on
was
Netflix.
at
It's not
one
right
point
now.
on Netflix. It definitely was.
I think so because I
But
know
I might have watched it on Amazon most recently. But I know originally I watched it streaming
Yeah.
on Netflix
because Justice League
couple years ago,
and
like-
Justice League Justice League
Dark.
Well, Batman Beyond was
Unlimited.
on Netflix.
Unlimited was those were definitely both.
I wasn't
on
a fan
Netflix.
of Batman Beyond.
I think Superman was too. I'm pretty sure Batman was on
Yeah,
Netflix.
I'm
It's
almost
not-
positive
maybe not
Batman
right
was
now.
because
Yeah.
I remember when it popped up along with X-Men the animated series. I was like,
Yeah,
It was. It was once upon a time. It may not be now.
it's probably gone now.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you want to watch it, you can fucking find it.
yeah. It's all right.
That can. It's like maybe real quick, fuck them. For people who say like, "Oh, I don't have that channel," or "I don't like," it's like if you have the fucking internet, you can watch anything that anyone has ever made, almost.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
all
Well,
there.
yeah, just go on Reddit. You'll find it. You know?
Yeah.
Seriously, like stop complaining. You don't have time to watch this show or whatever. Like, I don't know, I don't have that channel, or like that's on past my bedtime. It's like, fuck you, watch
you.
it.
Yeah,
you can
it's all
find it.
available. It's if you want to interact with it, it's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's always free.
Learn to use the internet. Anyway,
Agreed.
yeah.
Indeed.
Do we have anything else to say about this? No.
No.
All right, we'll go around. I guess say the ending shit here. You can find us at grownuphumans.com. Check out our website; it's pretty cool. Andy designed it. Shout out to Andy. But we're about to have a blog on there, and you can read. You can read our thoughts, and we'll write. Probably about like books we've read, maybe like stuff we maybe didn't get to say on the podcast we wanted to. Whatever. Everybody has their own page, so check out the blog. epicastnetwork.com/grownuphumans. iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, YouTube at Grownup Human Comic People. Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram at Grownup Humans. Rate and review us. We'll read your shit on the show. Let's go around the room and everybody say goodbye. Krias,
Goodbye.
Ziggy,
Bye.
Becky,
See ya.
J-Man,
See ya.
Patty.
Bye.
I'm Jared. Thanks for listening, and good night.
Peace.
Grown-up human comic people! Grown-up human comic people!
Epicast.